It is somewhat ironic that my two favorite things in any religion are both in the Catholic Church. Confession and the Pope. I love the Pope. Which doesn't say a lot. I mean, everybody likes the Pope. Nobody ever says, that fucking Pope. Pointy-headed bastard. You never get that. You know, I saw the Pope in San Francisco 4 years ago. I was so jacked. I was so excited. The Pope is here. I'm on Geary Boulevard. 120,000 people. Could not have been more disappointed. You're waiting, you're waiting, you're waiting. He zips by in a box. What is that? He is literally, he's in this Pope phone booth thing. Might have impressed me a little bit. Fill the booth with water. Tie the Pope's hands behind his back. Give him like a mile to work his way out. Let him show off a little bit. I hesitate in doing this on television because it is so offensive. You be the judge. Tell me if this bit is offensive to you. I might have become a Catholic if the church was a little hipper. Like if at communion the host was fudge, I'd be there for that. Okay, what if I added body of Christ with or without nuts? Is that too much? Yeah, no. Let me tell you something. Thank you, thank you. Body of Christ with or without nuts is the funniest thing I have ever said in my life. And there have been nights I've been so pissed when I would offer up my favorite joke, this pearl of humor, and nobody laughs. And I stare at you like you're idiots. This is so funny. I think I mentioned this before. I am right about everything. I am. Aren't you? Don't you feel self-righteously convicted about everything you think? Of course you do. You have to if you're human. Let's take the most volatile issue in the country today, abortion. Wherever you stand on abortion, I guarantee you, you will never change your mind. You feel so volatilely self-righteous on this issue. Could you be wrong, though? Can you step back and look at the other side? It is so hard. I try. I go, Rick, there are two sides to everything. On one side of the abortion issue, there are people that believe that a woman has the right to decide what happens to her own body. On the other side of the abortion issue, there are brain-dead zealots. Who's to say who's right? Far be it from me to judge. I'll tell you, as I get older, I'm getting more and more narrow about everything. Oh, they're fucked. They're screwed. It's just me that's right. My wife and I are the only sane people on the planet, and I have my doubts about her, to tell you the truth. That's why my friends are my friends. They agree with me about almost everything. Our one point of contention, the place where we have conflict, is, for lack of another term, metaphysically. I have very religious friends. I have spirit. My wife, God love her, is into this whole, what is it, honey, karma. Fuck karma. It does not work. You can give good, get run over by a truck. There is no karma. Actually, one of Lisa's best friends, Jeff, a redheaded, really devout Christian, visited us recently, and I love Jeff. He's a great guy, and he's praying for me. And he always says, Jesus is going to get you. Like I need Jesus guard now or something to hold him over. I remember the first time it dawned on Jeff I didn't believe in God, and it was so incredible to him. And we were sitting in front of our fireplace on these rocking chairs, just squeezing all we could out of this night, talking and growing tired. And he looks at me with this sudden realization in his eyes and goes, Rick, you're an atheist, aren't you? Geez, that's weird. You seem like a nice person. I'm confused about your code of ethics, though, Rick. How do you know what right and wrong are without God? What do you make that up, kind of? Everybody have a different right and wrong? No, Jeff. Everybody has the exact same right and wrong. They are objective things in the world. You do not need a religion to teach you ethics. Thou shalt not kill. Duh! Has anybody ever flipped through this book going, geez, I want to fuck my neighbor's wife, don't know if I should? If you can't intuit certain things, you are beyond redemption at this point. And I'll tell you what the drawback is to thinking that everybody knows what right is. You watch them do the wrong thing and you just grow to hate people. I'm consumed with hatred. I am. I sit in movie theaters. Does it bother anybody here, loud talkers in movie theaters? I can't even go to movies. I just sit there going, oh, damn it, who's going to talk? If I had the power to stare at the back of somebody's head, blink, and blow their head up, I would use it. It is beyond my ken in this day and age that people continue to litter. Now, I am not on a soapbox. I'm not better than anybody in this room. Nobody here's litters. I know you don't. I look at you. I know you don't. You're done with your Snickers wrapper. Hey, it's a hassle, but you're not going to throw it on the street. Most of the people in this country could throw it on the street. By the way, you know what I think the fine for littering should be? And I mean this. Whatever you litter gets shoved up your butt. I mean it. I don't care if it's a 2-liter Coke bottle, for Christ's sake. Cops should carry rubber gloves and Vaseline at all times. Came out of the vehicle, it's going back in. Have you ever been with somebody you really liked and you actually watched them litter in front of you? It is unbelievable. This happened to me, it's got to be 3 years ago now. Driving down the street, I'm driving in my little MR2 with my 17th best friend, Kevin. He takes the last bite of a banana, rolls down the window, throws the peel out. I'm like... And then he bullshit rationalized. You know what he said to me? Biodegradable. Here is yet another trite thing from my show. Everything on this planet is biodegradable in some amount of time. You can throw plutonium out your car window, drive back 1,000,000 years later, hey, it's gone! If you think about it, the human body is extremely biodegradable. I don't think that means we should have funeral services out along the highway now. Procession rolling along about 60, the pallbearers heave the body out. 5 months later, it's flat and dry with a little tuft of hair sticking out. That's not a proper memorial. Here's an odd thing. I think not just about me, but about people. I get pissed over the little inequities. I don't over the big ones. I don't. I don't. Open up your newspaper. It's a testament of man's inhumanity to man. I stare at these things in awe. Well, you look at the Holocaust. If the Holocaust had not have happened and you made it up, people would say, unbelievable. No way, this could never happen. And yet it did. It's unthinkable. That's the word. Now, I don't need to go very far for these sorts of things. I go to my own family, and I'm in awe of the way my mother has been treated her entire life by men. I think it's very ironic that as horrible as my stepdad Len was to my mom, when he left, she missed him. And this void formed in her life that she filled with alcohol. She drank for years. And she hung out in these bars in our area, and she brought men home from these bars who were unbelievably cruel to her. And my mother was never anything but nice to these guys. And I look at my brother Mike today. I know why Mike is Mike. It's so obvious. In the 50s and 60s, there were really strong moral implications to your mom sleeping with men she wasn't married to. And when that happened with some frequency in your home, it got you. It got me. I have my demons. I have worked them out. But my brother has not. You know what I'm left with? I'm left with real strong memories of the arguments, of lying in bed, listening to my mother and some man fighting. And I would lie in my bed and I could hear the TV muffled out past my bedroom door. Then their voices would start. And they'd get louder and louder and more ugly. And I'd wait for the fight to climax somehow. And he would hit her, or he would smash a beer bottle through a window or something. And I'd pull the covers over my head. And I'd whisper over and over again, leave her alone. Go away. Leave her alone. And I remember one night, a man that I never met going through our kitchen cupboards, breaking everything, shattering every dish and every glass and screaming at my mom. My mom is crying uncontrollably in the front room. And my brother is crying in the bunk above mine, and I'm crying all night. And I could not imagine the next day coming. I just couldn't. To walk through that door again seemed impossible. I think that the amazing thing about my mother, and I do think my mother is an amazing person, is her sense of humor. I'm sure it's what saved her. I think that the tragedy of my mom's life is that all she ever wanted in life was to be happy. And even as a little kid, I watched her look for that in all the wrong places. I love my mom. I love her a lot. I believe she knows that, though I cannot tell her. Nobody told me they loved me when I was little, ever. Nobody held me. There was no affection. But that's not why I can't tell my mom. It's because we never talked. I don't think anything is more damaging than not being able to talk about what you're thinking about. That's why I'm doing this show, for Christ's sakes. Now, I loved Mom when I was a kid because she was my mother, but I was so terrified of her. She was a manic depressive. And she would snap over little things, and she beat my brother Mike and me severely for years until she started getting treatments. And today she is still a manic depressive, though she is on medication. She takes these pills every day that keep her stabilized. God, I used to have such a fear that I would one day be on this medication because I've never known where to look for happiness myself. In fact, I think that if you ask anybody who knows me really well, and there are, at least 20 of those people around, they would tell you that I think I'm doing remarkably well now because I met my wife, 10 years ago. This is kind of a Biscaglia-esque thing to say, but let me say it. I don't believe in God, but I do believe in love. I think that love is something much more than sex and affection and just being with somebody. It's some magical thing that I believe in. And I know how sweet this sounds. Don't be embarrassed. I am generally a dark, morose son of a bitch. But without romantic love, my life would have never been worthwhile. And I'm not now saying that I have the perfect relationship. Lisa and I have a rock-solid, great relationship. But we argue all the time. We had a fight 3 weeks ago. Unbelievable how pissed I got. You ever do this, by the way? You ever been in the middle of one of those really intense fights? You were absolutely livid when it slowly starts to dawn on you that you're wrong. I hate that. And the weird thing is you don't stop arguing. No, you've got what I call dickhead momentum built up. You're on this downhill slide and you can't stop yourself. Honey, I told you to get a half a dozen. Shit! Look at this, you only got 6. This house is a mess.